I've had guys pull up on me on motorcycles as I'm crossing the street, and then they'll like block my path, and then like I'll stick out my middle finger, or I'll like be like, get away from me, and then they'll start saying like, oh, your breath stinks, or you know how like something dumb like that, and it happens all the time. Like it comes to the point where like you're walking down the street, and even if someone like looks your way, like you just want to like curse them out.
Yeah, so
that's how I feel at this point, especially in New York City. Like catcalling in New York City is crazy. Like you'll go every single block, it'll be at least one person is gonna say something, or you just feel like the eyes, like all eyes on you, and it's so like, I just want peace. So that's what, like, if anyone was to come my way to stop me, I'm just annoyed because you're not the first one. So it's like, get away from me.
Okay, so how do you walk down the street then to, you know, kind of avoid this situation?
Avoid?
Yeah, or
I literally,
to do your best to avoid it.
I literally pretend like I don't hear nothing. Like I look straight, and even if it's someone like next to me, like I look straight and I just walk, pick up my pace. I make sure I walk around with my AirPods, so like it sounds like if like I'm ignoring them, which I am 100% of the time, it's like, oh, she's probably listening to music or something. So yeah, I literally act up basically.
Well, do you want to know my experience walking from 2 blocks over?
Yo, go for it.
So the second I got out of the car, someone said, "Hey mama, what's up?" And I was like, "Hey," and just some guy in the street.
Okay.
So, you know, that happens a lot, especially like, I don't even want to say when you're dressed up, because it happens to me in like sweatpants and sweaters too. Yeah. You'll typically get catcalls no matter what you're wearing. Like you're bound to get, some guy's gonna make a comment to you. But also people are really nice. Like a girl complimented my outfit coming up here, and then this one guy coming down the street was like, "That outfit is so nice," and I was like, "Thank you." Okay. So much.
So there are people who do it right at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's a nice compliment. Love your outfit, not, "Oh, you look so sexy." Like, no, I don't want that. That's not a compliment. Like that's just a little creepy.
Yeah. You know? So there's a way to do it. You'd be okay with someone talking to you outside, stopping in the street, but it's just about how they do it.
It's how you approach it, yeah, absolutely. Just recently I was driving and I was stuck at a light, and there was a guy in the car next to me, and he was like calling for me, and I ignored him, and then I made the left, and he literally made the left, pulled up next to me and was like, "Can I have your number? Can I have your number?" And I was like, "No, you're not gonna have my number." I've had guys walk up to my window before. Again, men are bold. Men don't understand, like, there's a way to respectfully ask something, and there's a way to come off creepy and like intense.
So this was probably 2 months ago, so not that long ago. I was walking on the way to the subway station near my house, and where I live is a nice area, you know, there's not a lot of homeless people. And this dude riding a bicycle came up behind me and grabs my butt, and I'm in a skirt, so he got up like in there. So I take his arm, I throw it, I'm like, "Get off me, blah, blah, blah." I'm screaming, I'm cussing, I'm yelling. He's like, "Oh, baby, you know you want me, you want this," and he won't leave me alone. And so like, I'm still yelling, and I'm like, "Go away." So I start running because I'm like, yo, is he gonna do something else to me? And he keeps on following me. And then finally, like, there was thankfully a cop there. So I was like, "Hey, dude." So they pulled him and arrested him, and he was gone.
Oh, thank God.
So that was one scary thing. I've been followed in cars before, people like trying to like get me in their car. I've been touched, but a lot of butt smacks. And like New York is known for catcalling, so tons of it. But I would say definitely the most scariest is when I was walking home. This was a month ago. I was walking home to my house, another white van. He's pulling up and he's going real slow looking at me, you know. I'm pretending on my phone even though my phone's dead. And I'm, you know, just playing on it, and he starts honking his horn. I'm just like ignoring him, and he comes closer and closer, and he's like, "Get in the car, blah, blah, blah." And his friend gets out of the car, and I'm like, oh shoot, like I'm about to get kidnapped. Like this is real. So I automatically start running once again, because what am I gonna do? My phone's dead. It's late at night. I was coming home from a music video. And so I start running, and another white van comes the other direction. So I'm like, white van? Yes, and they were obviously together, and I was like surrounded on both ways, and I'm literally like crying. So I have my key in my hand to like shank someone if someone tries to come after me, and they're like hollering like, "We're gonna get you, blah, blah, blah." So I like found this little alleyway, I ran in there, and the van just keeps circling around looking for me. And finally they're gone. So I know for a fact they were trying to kidnap me. I don't care what anyone says. You already know the vibe that they were doing. They were trying to get me in their car. So yeah, New York is scary. So everyone needs to be careful because there's creeps out there. I've had people follow me, all that good stuff.
So I'm getting off of the A train at Broadway Junction.
Yeah.
Stepping off of it, train doors are closing. As I'm about to head up the stairs, this guy grabs my arm like, damn, you mad beautiful. So I was like, can you please not touch me? And he was like, can I ask you for your number? What's your name? And I was like, I don't appreciate being touched. And he just shoved me.
Damn, just shoved you. Now, after that happened, did you see like a drip? Were you already, just kind of forcefully stopping these interactions, or did you see a dramatic change in how you interacted outside after that happened?
Did I see a dramatic change in me?
And how you interact with people after that?
I had to put up more of that front. Like I had to like strengthen that that generic approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just kind of really opened my eyes to like to the extent that men are willing to go once their ego is bruised. So like it just kind of made me more careful.
Yeah. But
definitely strengthened that front that I had to put.
During my stay in New York City, I was waiting for an Uber. And after 3 of my Ubers canceled, I was feeling frustrated. And I walk outside and I'm waiting for, my Uber to come. And mind you, it's like, I want to say like 11 p.m. And I'm waiting and I'm greeted by this man. And he's like, hello. And I see him and, he's a homeless man. And he fucking scares me, because he came out of nowhere. And I have my sneakers in my hands, I'm barefoot because the sneakers were hurting my feet. And he starts talking to me, but in such a weird way. And I'm like, listen, I can give you these sneakers, they're worth something, just leave me the fuck alone, please. And he's like, no, you're very nice for the sneakers, but that's not what I want. I want to help you. And I'm like, what do you mean help me? In what way? And he's like, listen, I haven't had a birthday since 1991. And I've been looking for a date on the streets all day long. And I couldn't find one. And I'm here looking at him like, what the fuck? He's like, all I'm asking is to be intimate with you. And when he said that shit, bro, I thought it was over for me. Like, I really thought it's just over for me. And he kept going on about being intimate with me, and I just fucking zoned out, And fortunately, the Uber came, and I left. But if it hadn't came, like, it was over for me for sure.
Give me your most uncomfortable.
I can't even.
Like what, where do I start? Is it one of those?
Truly, where do I start?
I'm interested.
I get so many, and so does every female, so many like unwanted, aggressive advances, catcalls, people like touching me, grabbing my ass. Like I actually had a guy one time that was like a food truck worker.
Yeah.
Touch my boob, like just out of the blue. And it's honestly funny because now, being in LA, and then I was dealing with some family stuff. I had a family member who was assaulted, and now, since I've been back in New York, I almost dare somebody to try me, because I'm the kind of person now that if like construction workers or whatever are like whistling at me on the street, like I'm gonna flip you off. Like, and if someone touches me, like I dare somebody. I just ordered a taser off of Amazon that looks like an iPhone. It's $20 for all the females out there that need it. Yeah. And if you touch my ass, or don't leave me alone, or being aggressive, and if I've told you to stop or whatever, like I'm gonna tase you, or I'm gonna punch you as hard as I can, or if you're like making unwanted comments, I'm gonna say you're harassing me, I'm gonna need you to stop, because I think we as women have been sort of conditioned, especially when we're younger, to kind of just like oh, just kind of like, you know.
It is what it is.
Yeah, make it, you know, just kind of like go by, like don't make a big deal and just ignore it. And it's like, no, like you're making me uncomfortable, so I'm gonna make you uncomfortable. Like I'm at the age now, I'm 22, like I'm not gonna just like, oh, like keep my head down with this guy. I'm gonna turn around and like, stop harassing me. We're not gonna be objectifying women. Like, I'm sorry.
There's all types of people that know me, like either through social media or through mutual friends or school or whatever it may be, jobs. And there's certain times when they would come to me respectfully. They'll be like, oh, hey, aren't you like Gigi from Instagram, or aren't you that girl from this other thing that we worked on together? And I'll just be like, yeah, and they'll have like a nice conversation. But then there's people that go overboard and they're on top of me. They're just disrespectful. They just, especially guys, if they see me in public sometimes, they'll say, oh, hey, aren't you Gigi? And then they'll get on me and then they'll compliment me once. I'll say thank you, I'll walk away. Then they'll continue. Like if I walk away after saying thank you, then don't continue the conversation if I don't, you know? Because then it's just gonna be like, it's too much. I've lived in the neighborhood I live in now for about 7 years now. And then there'll be guys that'll literally like fall in love with me over just knowing me since middle school.
Yeah.
And he would always skate across the street from where I live, which there's a park at. Yeah. And he would always be there. He was never there before, you know. But there was this one summer when he was there every single day waiting for me to come, and he'll DM me, he'll be like, hey, are you coming? Hey, are you coming? And I was like, yo, that's a little stalkerish. And he knew where I lived.
Yeah. Because
I lived right across the street. Like I feel like he knew like where I walked. And then after years passed by, I'd just see him around the neighborhood. He doesn't even live there, you know?
Yeah.
And then the last time I saw him was like the beginning of the year. And then there's been more instances where I'd come home, because I'm usually on set from different times throughout the day and all of that. And I'd come home, and when I'm around the neighborhood, I could see people, like I would know, like I'll feel things. So I'd feel people following me, and then I'll have to do rounds around my neighborhood before I even get into my doorstep. So it happens a lot, but not as often as it used to.
I'm gonna say something a little controversial.
Go ahead.
A lot of girls don't like the catcalls and stuff, and I agree. I feel like catcalling is like kind of disrespectful and rude. But when I get a catcall, I'm like, well, thank you, honestly. You know what I mean?
Kind of feel yourself a little bit.
You know what I mean? It doesn't mean like you have a chance, but thanks. Thanks for feeling that what I'm putting out. You know what I mean? Even if it's a construction worker, I'll still smile.
But you won't let them see that you smile.
No.
Okay. That's the key right there.
Yeah.
Because that's the invitation.